and they also cover your transportation. They give you a company car. They do visa sponsorship. They cover your flights. One of the highest salaries. They get paid per lesson. 29,400 South African rands.
I got it, that's what you got it. I got it, yes I do, whatever you call me.
Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Bradley, but I go by Zero Africa on social media platforms. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. We have an exciting video today. As you can tell from the title, I will be sharing with you guys 5 companies that you can apply through to come teach English here in Japan. If there's anything that I've gotten a lot the past 2 years is how do I apply, where do I apply, what other company can I apply through, and all of those things. So today I'm just here to recommend some of those companies that I've personally looked at too, because you know, your girl might be job hunting, who knows. So yeah, I wrote down all of the names of the companies and everything that you need to know down on my iPad. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit here and there throughout the video just to share some information with you guys, but just going to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be covering. I am going to be talking about obviously the names of the company, the job type, or what you're going to be doing as an English teacher, because there's different types of ways that you can teach English here in Japan, and the work hours, the salary, and things like benefits, if they do sponsor visas or not, and housing, flights, and all of those things. So yeah, we're going to be covering a lot today. A bit of background if you're seeing my face for the first time. I am a South African and I currently live in Japan. We're coming up to almost 2 years of living in Japan, and I taught at an international school. I applied through a website called Gaijinpod, but I feel like a lot of people are having trouble with applying through that website. So the companies that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today allows you to apply directly. So you don't have to use a recruiter, you don't have to go through a website. One thing that you should know from the get-go is that you should have all your documents ready. You should have your valid passport ready, you should have your police clearance ready, your transcripts, your degree, everything should be ready before you apply. If you work for any of these companies, please do let us know in the comment section and let us know how your experience is going and how everything is like. You know, sharing is caring, and your information is valuable, and it could help someone make a very life-changing decision. But yeah, if you're interested in teaching English in Japan, this video is definitely for you, and let's get into it. Quick disclaimer, everything that I'm going to be sharing with you guys here is from my own personal research. So I have a recommendation for you guys, because people keep asking me if they can trust specific companies. There is a website that a lot of foreigners use, especially the ones that do teach in Japan. It's called Glassdoor. I'll just write it on the screen. You can go look up that company, if it's trustworthy, if you can work for them, especially if you get a job and you don't know if you can, you know, come here, leave your life behind and move across the world for a company that's maybe a black company or a fly-by-night type company. So Glassdoor is a place where you can look up reviews and see the work environment and everything that you need to know about the company. And also, the companies that I'm going to be mentioning here are from my own research, and obviously you can do your own research too, but the links of where to apply and how to apply to each and every company that I'm going to be mentioning is going to be in the description box of this video. So company number 1 that we're going to be talking about today is called Altia Central. So this is similar to JET, or the JET program. So say you didn't get into the JET program, you can still come and do the exact same thing through Altia Central. They put you in government schools like JET does. It's just that the salary is a bit lower than JET. Not by much, but it's very competitive to JET. So the type of job that you will be doing with Altia Central is obviously ALT, so assistant language teacher, which means that you'll be helping a Japanese English teacher in the classroom with English. So you'll help kids with conversational skills and just doing day-to-day things that the teacher will be doing. You'll be helping, almost correcting the English and letting the kids hear how English sounds naturally from a native speaker. So that's basically what you're going to be doing. And then the work hours for Altia Central are from 8:30 to 5 p.m. or sometimes from 8:30 to 4 p.m. depending on the type of school that you're working for. So you can work for a junior high school, elementary school, or a high school. So yeah, and the classes are about 40 to 15 minutes each lesson. And then let's talk about the salary. The salary for Altia is 240,000 yen, which translates to 29,400 South African rands, or 1,624 American dollars. And they also cover your transportation, or they give you a company car, or they pay for a car that you will be getting. You'll get a stipend to cover the costs of your car. And then in terms of visa, they do visa sponsorship. They also, I think, they cover your flights. It's not really clear on their website though. And then they also sponsor housing. They'll put you in an apartment complex called Leo Palace Apartments. If you're curious about what that looks like, you can just Google Leo Palace Apartments, and then you'll get to see where you'll potentially live before you obviously get to Japan. These apartments most of the time come fully furnished, so you don't have to worry about furniture and all of those things. And then they also act as your guarantor, so they act as a person that tells the apartment people that you can be trusted, you can live there and all of that, but you have to cover rent and all those things. So yeah, that is everything that you need to know about Altia Central. The next one is Aeon. Okay, Aeon does group teaching, so you'll be teaching a maximum of 5 to 8 people of different age groups. So it is not really like your typical classroom environment where you go in at a school and all of those things. You just go into like a campus of some sort, and people come from different places and they come learn English with you. Sometimes you can do one-on-one lessons, one-on-one private lessons through Aeon. So it is very, very different. It's not really like a structured school where you come, there's periods and all of those things. There's specific lessons that you teach, and you can either teach 5 people, 8 people, or one-on-one. In terms of working hours for Aeon, they start from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. And their work week starts on Tuesday until Saturday. And then you also work 40 hours per week. And their salary is one of the highest salaries in the list of the companies I'm going to be mentioning today, which is 275,000 yen, which translates into 33,760 rand, and that is $1,860. And they cover transportation, and they also pay for overtime. Aeon also sponsors your visa, they pay for your flights, they provide housing, they pay for health insurance, and you also get paid 3 one-week vacations. Our next company is Interac. So if you are looking at becoming an ALT, you have JET, which is number 1, Altia Central, in my opinion, number 2, and then you have Interact. So if you're curious about Interact, again, Glassdoor is a place where you can go do reviews and look up what they say. But Interact basically does the same thing as Altia Central and JET, which is ALT work, which is assistant language teaching, where you'll be helping a Japanese teacher teach English. Their work hours are from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. weekdays, which is 40 to 50 minutes per lesson, and then that's 25 classes per week. They pay 2.4 million yen per annum, which then translates to, if you divide it and do the math and stuff, which translates to 24,500 rand per month, which is $1,350 roughly American dollars. And then they also cover transportation. I think all the companies in Japan actually cover transportation. Not all of them, but like I think most of them cover transportation. And then they also do visa sponsorship, and they do the whole automatic tax deduction thing. All the other 2 companies I've mentioned also, they do automatic tax deduction. There are some companies that don't do that, which you have to file your taxes yourself. So please make sure about that, because you will get your full salary and then you will be owing the government. So make sure that they do that. So Interact actually does the automatic tax deduction, health insurance, they do a pension fund, and yeah, that's Interact for you. Our next company is called Nova. So there's a girl that I speak to that is actually teaching for Nova, so it seems like it's going well for her. So with Nova, you do one-to-one teaching or a small group of all ages. So what that means is that if there's like a high school student that already is on the same English level as someone that's in college, they'll probably be in the same class, so you'll teach them all at the same time the same thing. So that's what that means. And then in terms of their working hours for Nova, you start working from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. at night, and that's from Monday to Friday. And they also do weekends and national holidays. That's the trick here. So normally with national holidays in Japan, you get to stay home and you still get paid for that days. Yeah. So with Nova, you are expected to come to work on national holidays. So on national holidays, you work from 10 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. And also on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, you still go to work. And then I think they have specific off days. I'm not really sure about that. They don't really mention that on their website. It's not really clear. And then in terms of salary, they get paid per lesson. So your payment or the amount of money you can make is approximately 1,200 to 2,200 yen, which translates into 147 rand to 240 rand, South African rand, per 40-minute lesson. And then in dollars, that is $8 to $13 per 40 to 50-minute lesson. And then they also cover your transportation from your house to your work. I don't think they give you an apartment. They don't talk about giving you an apartment or helping you get an apartment at all, because I remember the person that I spoke to, she asked me where can she get an apartment. Her company was not helping her find an apartment, so they don't do that. They don't provide social insurance, but in Japan you can apply for social insurance. I think everyone can apply for social insurance. You can just pay for it yourself. You're responsible for paying for it yourself. They don't automatically deduct it from your salary. And then Nova also sponsors your visa. Our last company is called Gaba, or Gaba, or however you want to say it. G-A-B-A. Gaba. They do one-to-one teaching, so it is more like a private lesson type of job. And then instead of having a school too, they have offices of this Gaba company, and you can just go there and work from one of their offices, so you can meet your student there instead of meeting them at your house. And also I think they do online lessons too. If you're more interested in doing something like that, you don't want to go to one of the offices, you can teach from your house and do an online lesson with one of your students. And their working hours are from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. And then they also work on weekends, which is from 8:40 a.m. to 8:20 p.m., which is a very random time. But the nice thing about Gaba is that you can design your own schedule. You can basically decide when you want to avail yourself for a lesson and how much money you want to make. So if you want to work like a normal teacher, you obviously can work 8 hours a day and have all those lessons back to back and then go home, which then allows you to make as much money as possible. Or you can do it as a part-time thing where you work maybe on a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Friday, and then all the other days you just take off or do something else. So with controlling your own schedule comes where the salary is not super stable. So if you do decide that you want to teach full-time with Gaba and you work normal work weeks, then there's a potential for you to make a lot of money. Yeah. So their salary structure is 1,630 yen per lesson. Nah, that is 200 rand per lesson, and that is $11 per lesson. And then there's a potential to earn about 270,000 yen, which translates to 33,180 rand, or 1,828 American dollars. So if you decide to do the whole 8 hours mini lessons, you might make even 300,000 yen at this point. So yeah. And Gaba sponsors your visa, but what they don't do is your tax deduction, your pension. I think I mentioned this before with the previous company too. They don't do that. With Gaba, they view you as a contracted worker, so they technically, to a certain extent, not really responsible for you because you're seen as like a freelancer. Same thing that I was doing on iTalki is like, I am a contract worker, so I'm not really a full-time worker. They don't have to do my taxes, my health insurance, my this, my that. So you can apply for health insurance and pension and pay your taxes, but you have to do it yourself because they're not responsible for that. And I think they also don't really cover your transport because it's not really clear on their website either. They don't mention it. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 companies that I'm recommending to you guys, the same companies that I've also looked at. This is in no specific order, obviously, but out of all of them, I think Aeon pays the best, obviously. And you guys should do your own research and look into which companies you want to do. And if you do have any other questions, please do leave them down in the comment section. And if you are watching this video and you teach at one of these companies, please do leave your comments down below and let us know about your experience. Sharing is caring. So yeah, I have nothing else to add. I will see you guys in my next video. For now, say bye.